everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Yellow Monarch. Okay guys, so today we're going to answer the question of should you wear single-breasted or double-breasted in today's video. So I just want to check and make sure my video is recording, and it is. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this video. So first off, a lot of you might be asking the question of what is single-breasted and double-breasted and why should I even care? So the reason why I'm saying that you should care about what single-breasted and double-breasted is because if you know what single-breasted and double-breasted means when it comes to clothes, then when you go shopping, then it's going to be easy for you to communicate to store clerks at clothing stores what it is that you want when you're seeking out something that is single-breasted or double-breasted, and it cuts down on your shopping time. All right, so what do I mean when I say single-breasted and double-breasted? Now, way back when, years ago, I heard the terms single-breasted and double-breasted, and I didn't really know what they meant. I didn't think they meant much of anything. But I had no idea that I was seeing examples of single-breasted and double-breasted attire. And if somebody would have asked me what it was, you know, I wouldn't have even been able to describe it. And I would have been there looking like a big idiot. But now I'm glad that I finally found out what single-breasted and double-breasted means. Because if, for example, you are trying to dress up your look, then you might be looking for something that is double-breasted. If you are looking for something that's a little dressy and casual, you'll be looking for something that is single-breasted. So we're going to get into the definitions of what single-breasted and double-breasted are so you guys can understand what I mean when I say single-breasted and double-breasted. And don't worry guys, I'll give you some examples. And I just want to say this video is for men and for women. So ladies, I'm going to talk about how single-breasted and double-breasted is going to affect you. And guys, I'm going to talk about how single-breasted and double-breasted affects you. All right. So let's keep on going. So let's start off with the term single-breasted. So when I say single-breasted is a style of coat or jacket with one row of buttons and closures. Okay. There's buttons on one side, and then there's closures on the other side. And when I say side, I mean on the front side of a coat or jacket. One side you have buttons on the front side of the coat or jacket. And then on the other side on the front of your jacket, you're going to have closures. And then to fasten it, you would put the button through the closures and then button it going down the jacket. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys examples of what single-breasted looks like for both a man and a woman now, so you guys have a picture of it in your minds. Okay. All right, so let's go and look at single-breasted. Okay, so this woman right here, she is wearing a single-breasted coat. Okay, and this happens to be kind of like a salmon kind of brown kind of color, but this is what is meant by single-breasted. Single-breasted here, like the definition said, is a style of coat or jacket with one row of button closures. Okay, now I specify and say buttons and closures. Okay, because on one side you're going to have the button, and on the other side you're going to have the closure. And then when you bring the button and the closure together, it's going to fasten the coat or jacket that you're wearing. So this lady in particular, she's wearing single-breasted. Now, when it comes to single-breasted, on a single-breasted coat or jacket, you can have one button, two buttons, or three buttons. But recently in my research, when I was doing some Google searches, I saw that you can have as many as 4 buttons or more when it comes to single-breasted, and it gets kind of crazy depending on, you know, our fashion trends that we have. So this is an example of single-breasted. And ladies, as you can see, this is a very nice clean looking jacket that she has on, and you notice that the single-breasted coat she has on, it makes her look long and lean. and rather tall. And she looks very pulled together by just having a white undershirt under her coat, and then she has on like some skinny jeans under it. So when I was talking about single breasted being a little dressy but yet casual, this is what I was talking about. Okay, now let's move on to a single breasted example for our gentlemen. Okay, so when we talk about single breasted when it comes to our guys, a lot of times single breasted is going to be associated with either a guy's suit jacket, or it's going to be associated with a guy's overcoat. Okay, so I'll show you an example of what's meant when I'm talking about single breasted for our guys. Okay, so here is our example of single breasted for our guys here. Okay, so so as we can see, we have a single row of buttons. Okay, on one side you're going to have the buttons, which is over here, and on the opposite side you're going to have the closures. So it is difficult to see the closures by themselves because he buttoned that one button at the top up here. But if it was unbuttoned, you'd have the two buttons over here, and over here you'd have two closures like this, as you can see. When it comes to this guy's look right here, it looks very clean and pulled together. He has really dressed up the single breasted look. He stepped it up. He added a tie and a undershirt right here. Now, he did not have to add a tie. He could still make the single breasted look okay without a tie, but I guess he wanted to dress it up, probably because he's going to work. He probably works for a corporation of some type. He's probably some big wig or some manager that's going to some type of important meeting. Or he could be somebody that's going to a black tie event. He just wanted to dress himself up. So, yeah. And this is also a good look, too, for a guy who's going to a wedding. This is a really good look for a guy going to a wedding or some other type of formal event, like going to a play or a gala or some other type of something really super formal event. Okay, so yeah, this is our example of single breasted. Okay, so gentlemen, this could be a good look for you guys to wear too. And later on in the video, I'm going to talk about other colors that you could wear with a suit as far as single breasted that could look good on you too. Okay, all right, so now let's talk about double breasted. Okay, so when we talk about double breasted, okay, and I'm just going to go back to our Google screen here. Okay, so when we talk about double breasted, what's meant by double breasted is a style of coat or jacket with two rows of buttons, closures, which overlap a bit in the front. Okay, now how I like to describe double breasted is you have two rows of buttons in the front that could go down the chest or torso area. Okay, and they're going to be in a row. And with double breasted, you could either have you could either have one button in each of the rows, two buttons in each of the rows, or three buttons in each of the rows. Now, like I told you, when it comes to fashion can get crazy. So double breasted, as I've seen from my research, it could really get crazy where you could have as many as 8 buttons in each row, okay, on something that is double breasted. Okay, and I've seen some examples when I went out and visited a local Goodwill, and I'll tell you guys more about that a little bit later. Okay, so double breasted, a style of coat or jacket with two rows of button closures which overlap a bit in the front. Now, you guys might be saying, well, how is single breasted different than double breasted? Okay, so I'll show you what double breasted looks like. Okay, so here we go. Here is an example of double breasted. Okay, you see this guy, he looks real sharp. He looks like somebody really important. Okay, he looks clean, put together. All right, down to the T, sharp. All right, so what's meant by double breasted is you see that two rows of buttons. Now, you don't see the closures. Okay, you're not going to see the closures when it comes to a double breasted being buttoned up, but you will see if the double-breasted is like the suit jacket is open or the coat is open, okay, you will see those closures, okay. So when it comes to double-breasted, you got these buttons, you got buttons here. Now the difference between single-breasted and double-breasted is, going back to our single-breasted example for our guys here, is that with single-breasted, you notice when it comes to fastening something that's single-breasted, it doesn't take much effort and the fabric doesn't have to really travel very far to fasten, okay? But when it comes to double-breasted, the fabric does, which is why you notice here on this side, you notice that when it's fastened, the fabric folds over and fastens. And with this particular style, double-breasted, this is what happens to all double-breasted attire. There's going to be that area of that flap where the fabric folds over, and then you have a fastener, and then you bring that button through that fastener and button it. And then for the next button down, as you can see, you're going to bring a button through the fastener, okay? As long as that's how the style of how it is made, then that's how it'll work, okay? So you can see that this fabric goes over him, okay? Right here. So this right here, this fabric goes over. Now I want to show you guys an example of what it looks like when you have something that is double-breasted and it is unbuttoned. So I'm gonna go on Google here for just a second and type in double-breasted unbuttoned. This is something I looked up before. So let's see. So here's an example of a guy who's wearing a double-breasted suit. But as you can see, it doesn't look as sharp as when double-breasted is buttoned up. You know, the guy looks kind of disheveled. He looks kind of sloppy, okay? And even from this angle, he looks kind of sloppy. Even though he has a suit jacket, he's trying to be dressed up, he still does not look pulled together. It's not until you have a guy that has, let me get a better picture, hold on. It's not until you have a guy who has his suit buttoned up, like we'll use this guy right here, that the look really comes together, okay? Now, as you can tell, this looks kind of casual up here, and I'll talk about why this looks a bit casual a little bit later on in this video, okay? But as you can see, it looks good when it's buttoned up, okay? And I'll show you guys another example of a guy who looks pretty clean when it's buttoned up here. So, as you can see, when this guy has his double-breasted suit buttoned up, it really makes him look pulled together, okay? All right, so we have seen the guy example of double-breasted. And yes, it's okay if you have one button buttoned up, or if you have the example like this guy right here where you have both buttons buttoned up. But for some guys, it could be a bit tight to button both buttons. So, you know, you have the choice, guys. You can either you can button both, or you can leave one of them undone so it doesn't feel as snug on your body, okay? And I'll talk about what it feels like to wear something that's single-breasted or double-breasted, okay? All right, so this is our double-breasted example for our guy here who looks really clean in his charcoal gray suit with the light blue undershirt and a light blue tie. Okay. All right, so what's an example of double-breasted for our ladies? Okay, so double-breasted for our ladies looks like this. So ladies, feast your eyes on this double-breasted coat. This is a beautiful coat, and the model that they have here wearing it looks amazing. As we can see, she looks very elegant, well put together in this double-breasted coat. And we can see that elegant air and that just get that vibe that she's somebody important, that women should listen to because she looks like she is in style and somebody that, you know, knows her stuff. All right. Especially when it comes to dressing herself, which is why people are going to be listening to her. Okay. Now, the way she's posing is a little crazy, but again, she still looks good. You know, she still looks elegant. She looks like she comes from an important family of people who make big decisions. Okay. Now, as you can see here on this double-breasted coat here, which happens to be white and it has those double-breasted buttons, we see that there are 3 buttons over here and 3 buttons over here. Now, we can't see those closures like I said before on here, but if you were to look real close, so let me try to zoom in a little bit. So if you were to zoom in a little bit more, okay, you can kind of see that there is a closure here and a closure here and a closure here. Let's see how much closer I can get. Okay, yeah. So you cannot see those closures, and I was trying to get you guys to see the closures right here and right here. But as you can see, it is, as you can see, these buttons are going to just stay in line easy. But these buttons on this side right here, these buttons over here are fastened, and it's fastened over her, from her chest down to her torso area. Okay, so it's pretty easy to see that. Okay, and you kind of still see those fasteners over there. So this is where it's fastened. Now, double-breasted, when it comes to this style of coat or jacket, double-breasted can fit a bit snug. So if you're wearing it, you just want to make sure that, you know, you give yourself a bit of space on the inside. And yes, this will hug your midsection area. Okay, it will. And I'll tell you guys more about that with double-breasted. But as we can see, yes, we had that wraparound effect of this double-breasted here and stuff. Okay, all right. So we've seen our example of single-breasted for our women and our men, and we've seen our example of double-breasted for our men and our women. Okay, so guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about why it is that if you're going in and you're shopping for something that looks like this, why you'd want to refer to double-breasted, or if you're shopping for something like this, then you'd want to refer to it as single-breasted. Okay, so the reason why when you go clothes shopping you want to refer to this as single-breasted and tell the clerk that you're looking for a single-breasted blazer, or you're looking for a double-breasted coat here, is because it'll be a waste of time for you to go up to a salesperson and try to describe what you're looking for, because that salesperson may not have any idea what you're talking about, and after hearing you so long and you not making sense, they'll just walk away. Okay, now also going along with that, if you were to go up to a salesperson with the picture, it could be more helpful if you brought a picture to them and say, hey, I'm looking for something like this. That might help. But what really is going to make the difference when you go up to a salesperson and you say exactly what you're looking for, you say, for our ladies, excuse me, miss, when you're talking to the salesperson, I'm looking for a double-breasted overcoat. Do you happen to have any of those in a white or a cream color like this right here, like this girl has on? Then they'll say double-breasted. They may not know what double-breasted is, but if they do know from experience and they see the picture, they'll say, oh yeah, sure, you know. But if they don't know the term double-breasted, but they see the picture, then that might be helpful. And this helps them connect the word double-breasted to the picture of what you're showing them. That way, in the future, they'll know what it is. And you'll sound all the more intelligent when you're talking about what you're looking for. Because salespeople are going to see you as intelligent and carrying yourself well if you know how to describe specifically what it is you're coming in and looking for. And don't be afraid to go up to a salesperson and ask for help, because they know the store, they know the clothes that they sell. And do you really want to waste a bunch of hours in the store looking around for, this particular coat, when the salesperson could have told you what could have took you 2 hours to find? A salesperson could tell you where this particular double-breasted coat is in about 5 minutes. And then you could go and shop for other things too, instead of just spending your whole entire store visit on looking for this style of coat and it take you 2 or 3 hours just to find it. Okay? And who knows if you're going to even find it, because you might give up and not find it because you might be on the wrong floor of the store. Because, if you go to a mall, malls can have, the stores in the malls can have different levels. Like Macy's, it has like 3 or 4 different levels to a Macy's. So if you walk into a store and you're trying to find this and you're on the floor for like that first floor for like 2 hours, you can't find it, and you give up, and you could have went to the salesperson and asked them in 5 minutes and found out it's on the 3rd floor. Think about it, guys, which is better, taking 5 minutes to ask a salesperson, or spending 2-3 hours trying to find something on the floor where you're not going to find it in the store. Okay. All right. Now for our guys, okay, with reference to single-breasted gentlemen, when you go into a suit store, you sound like you're really, intelligent to this people in the suit store, and like you may have some money, like you might make a good amount of money on your job if you say you're coming in and you're looking for a single-breasted suit. Okay. Reason why you sound smart is because you know specifically what it is that you're coming in and looking for, rather than standing there and talking to the salesperson and trying to describe what you're looking for and then them totally giving it up and just walking off and leaving you. Okay. And when it comes to going to a suit store, especially if it is a store that is expensive, meaning that the suits can cost a pretty penny, meaning it costs hundreds of dollars, if you come in and you know what you're talking about, as long as you know what you're looking for, they're going to immediately take you over to what you're looking for. They're going to ask you what color you're looking for a suit in. They're going to ask you if you're looking for a slim fit, or if you're looking for something that is going to be, have a more room in it, but it can make your shoulders look broader, guys, if that's what you're looking for. They're going to be willing to help you as long as you can get right to the point of what it is that you're looking for and you're being specific. Now, you're going to look unintelligent if you go into a store and you're trying to describe what you're looking for, and then the salesperson gives up, and they're going to think like you're low class because you can't describe what you're looking for, especially if you're in a suit store, guys, that, has suits that can go up in the hundreds and the thousands. Okay. So, knowledge is power. So, as long as you know, if you're looking for single-breasted or double-breasted, just be able to explain what it is you're looking for, and maybe what color you're looking for a particular type of attire in, and then you look all the more sophisticated. Now, when it comes to fit and all that stuff, you don't have to know about the fit and everything. The salesperson should be able to help you out with that, especially if they're really knowledgeable and they know what they're talking about. Okay? Now, if you're in those expensive coat stores or suit stores that's high caliber, they should know what you're talking about. And as long as you know what you're talking about, they're going to give you some tips too on what you're buying. Let's say that they're showing you this particular thing, like this suit right here. Let's say they're showing you this, but they might say, well, maybe you might consider getting this in a charcoal gray. Maybe you might consider this because we have a sample like this and it's a few $100s less that, could save you some money. So as long as you know what you're talking about, you might be able to get some advice and some tips, and some deals on top of it. Okay. All right, guys. So, let me check on my time, let you guys see how we're going. All right. So we're doing pretty good. We're at like 24 minutes. guys, okay? All right, so for you guys, I want to share my experience with wearing single-breasted and double-breasted, okay? So I want to share that example with y'all. Okay, now I was at a local Goodwill that I visited. For those of you who don't know, Goodwill is basically where you can find secondhand clothes, meaning clothes that people have bought, probably worn a few times, but they decided to donate to Goodwill for other people to wear. Okay, so that's basically what the Goodwill is. And in addition to clothes, they sell maybe some housewares and furniture and jewelry and other different types of stuff. You might even find like paintings there and kids' toys there and stuff like that too, if you're looking for it. And sometimes you might be able to score some new stuff that some stores have donated. Like there's a department store called Target in my area. And they basically are a department store and they sell all types of stuff, clothes, hair stuff, food, furniture, you know, a lot of different stuff, right? So there was a local Target in my area, and to the local Goodwill, they donated some like hair care and some clothes and some different other types of new stuff to the Goodwill that did not sell in their store. So I thought that was pretty sweet, and I even took advantage of getting some of that new stuff from that Target, but at a really low price because it was at the Goodwill. Okay. And guys, I might do a video specifically about the Goodwill for you guys to kind of tell you a little bit more about that if you guys are interested. If you are, comment below and let me know that you want us on our Yellow Monarch channel to do a video about the Goodwill, okay? And there's some pretty cool finds of the Goodwill you can find too, especially when it comes to clothes, okay? All right, so with reference to single-breasted, so I had an experience when I went to a Goodwill, and I'll just like show you guys what a Goodwill looks like for those of you guys who have no idea what I'm talking about. Here's an example of a Goodwill, people in front of it. Okay, so like here's a Goodwill right here. Okay, so this was what I mean, Goodwill store. Okay, so I went to a local Goodwill, not this one, but this is just kind of image of a Goodwill place. Okay. So went to a local Goodwill, and I happened to come across a couple examples, well, a few examples of single-breasted and double-breasted, but then I narrowed it down to one single-breasted jacket and one double-breasted coat. Okay. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys about my experience real quick. Okay, guys. So, so here's an example of a double-breasted coat that I saw at the Goodwill. I didn't buy it, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But here's an example of a double-breasted coat. As you guys can see, those 2 rows of buttons. Okay, now remember when I was talking about single-breasted and double-breasted, I said that there could be one row, not row. I told you that for buttons, in each row, you can have 1 button, 2 buttons, or 3 buttons. Now, on this double-breasted, as you can see, there's not just 1 button each row, or 2 buttons in each row, or 3 buttons in each row. And the 2 rows, okay, in each row, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. Okay, so this is not like the traditional double-breasted, but still, here it is. You know, we still got that double-breasted effect because of the buttons. And it still looks pretty sophisticated for someone to wear. So I tried on this double-breasted coat, and as it turns out, it turned out to be too small. When I put it on, I could put it on, but I had like a sweater on, and when I put it on, it was tight. And when I tried to move my arms around in this double-breasted coat, I could barely like move my arms. It was like really tight and stuff. I could move my arms, but it was like, it was kind of hard to move them and stuff. So that was one of the reasons I didn't get it. And another reason was because when I went to fasten these buttons on this double-breasted coat, which it fastened on this side, okay, where the fasteners were, then I noticed that as I started buttoning this button, and I started off buttoning these up first, but as I started buttoning this right here, I noticed the more, buttons I button. So as I button this button, then this button, I noticed that with each button that I fastened, with that fabric coming over me buttoning it, I noticed that it got snuggier to my body, and snuggier and snuggier and snuggier as I buttoned the buttons. So when it comes to double-breasted, it can get snug to your body because that fabric is coming over, and as you button and fasten it, it is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter to your body. So when it comes to double-breasted, I highly recommend for you guys, if you're going to be buying a coat like this or something else, make sure that you're going to have room in the coat to move around. So you make sure your arms can move around, and make sure also that when you fasten it, make sure you have room in it also, especially if you want to wear like a sweater under it, like if it is winter time, and you don't have any, anything fleece in your particular double-breasted coat, if you don't have anything like a warm interior or lining, then you want to make sure that you have enough room to wear a sweater under it. And then when you button it down, then it's going to be easy for you to be able to have the coat fit you, with your arms and your body, and you can move around it nice so it doesn't feel tight and uncomfortable on you. That's the thing about double-breasted. It can be snug. So make sure you have that room in there. Make sure your double-breasted coat or jacket is the right size, whether it's a suit, jacket, or a coat, blazer, whatever, because if you're going to be wearing this for an extended period of time, you want to make sure you're going to be comfortable, okay? So just know it's about double-breasted. It can get snug on your chest and midsection area. And ladies, be careful with this too, because if you have bigger boobs, you want to make sure you got room in that double-breasted coat so that, you're not having a hard time trying to breathe, okay? Also with the midsection area too, because it's going to hug that too, okay? It's going to hug over to your body if you're wearing double-breasted. Now, I did have a little bit of a hard time buttoning this up, and I had to before I button this up, I had to figure out these buttons and stuff. So just know with double-breasted, you might have to figure out how to deal with these buttons. But this is a more of a trendy, updated version of double-breasted, which is dramatically different than this example right here, where you notice there's you notice that on the coat I found there was a lot more buttons here. Okay, he only had 3 buttons. Here there are 6. Okay, all right. Now move on to our single-breasted example here that I found at the local Goodwill. So here's an example of something that's single-breasted. Yes, I know there is buttons here, 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 but it is single-breasted because you notice that in order to fasten it, it doesn't take much effort. You just go right on down, and it doesn't squeeze over you, all right? Okay, it's just to button it up. It's very simple. When I tried putting this on, this was too small for me. I guess because I was wearing a sweater, and if I was going to be getting this, I should have gotten this in a little bit of a bigger size. But at the Goodwill, they only had this size, that somebody donated. So with this particular thing, it was easy to put on. It was tight, but I noticed it was different from the double-breasted because it wasn't as squeezy on my body. All right. Okay. So if you guys had to ask me which one that I liked wearing more, I liked wearing this more, but I really like the look of this one. I just wish this was had enough room in it and I could move my arms around and be comfortable in it, and I would have bought this for sure. But yeah, I just left them at the Goodwill. And I also wanted to take realistic examples that are unpolished and everything in real life, because I wanted you guys to see what these things look like without them being all polished and everything from the internet and Photoshop and everything else, like other pictures will be on the internet. All right. Okay, so let's see what kind of time I'm running at. Oh, I'm doing pretty good. All right. At 34 minutes. For some people it'd be long, but for me that's pretty short because I've watched some videos that were like hour, 2 hours or more. And the reason why I'm making this video a bit more extended is because if you see videos on like YouTube that are on the internet talking about single-breasted and double-breasted, a lot of times these are going to be like some quick videos, maybe a 5-minute video, a 8-minute video or a 10-minute video, but it won't be something that'll give you this level of detail like I'm showing you here. Now, gentlemen, I know by this time you guys are like, well, what about single-breasted and double-breasted? What does that look like from the Goodwill? I looked around the Goodwill. I looked in the suit area. I looked where the men's coats were, and I could not find any examples of, I found single-breasted, but I didn't find any suits that I thought would look really good for you guys to see. But I did not did not find any double-breasted examples of any double-breasted suits or coats to show our guys. So for guys, I'm really sorry I couldn't find anything. But I do want to stress this about double-breasted. It can be hard to find something that is double-breasted, especially at the Goodwill, because that's very uncommon. For people who tend to have double-breasted, they usually don't, I'm going to say they usually don't donate that, because finding something that's double-breasted is pretty rare. And especially when you go out looking for something at stores, it can be hard to find something that's double-breasted unless you're going to like a high-end consignment shop, or if you're going to like a high-end clothing store or a suit store where, you know, you're going to spend a couple of bucks to find something. So double-breasted can be rare to find. And this is what I found out from my research too. Okay. All right. And let's go ahead and move on. So let's go ahead and get to this thing I want to show you guys. All right. Okay, so here's a few things I want to share with you about single-breasted and double-breasted real quick. So from this article, they did a little bit of talk about single-breasted and double-breasted, and I thought this would be kind of cool for you guys because it just gives you a little more information about single-breasted and double-breasted, okay? So on here, I really liked number 2, where it said, in terms of single-breasted, when it says single, they're referring to single-breasted. So for number 2, I liked where it said, you can wear this style or single-breasted, especially in versatile navy or charcoal hues for any formal or business casual event. So remember, guys, when I was talking about way at the beginning of the video, talking about colors you can wear single-breasted at, this is where I'm talking about these colors. So you can wear a versatile navy or a charcoal hues in a suit to any type of formal or business casual event and look your best for our guys. And ladies, you could also, if you're at a formal event, you could also wear a navy suit, like a woman's suit, or a black suit if you're going to be at a business casual event too. Let me just pop in and see if I can find something. Business casual women's suit. I just want to bring that up real quick. So let me see if I can find a quick example. Okay. Waiting for it to come up, ladies. Okay, here you go. So as you can see from this example, ladies, here is a nice suit that you can wear in a nice black. I know it's kind of small, so I'm going to see if I can bring up a picture that looks a bit more professional. Well, oh, this is still skinny too. Yeah, here's a navy suit right here too. Let's see if I can find a better picture. A suit. Oh my goodness, these pictures are also tiny. They're also doggone tiny when it comes to a suit. I hope this is bigger. It's not. Okay, so ladies, as you can see with this example, this is like a black suit that you can kind of pick up and wear. Okay, here's an example, ladies. Here's like a gray suit that, you know, you could wear This will be a charcoal gray example of a suit that you can wear. And if you're going to like maybe like a job interview or something like that, or you're working in a corporate office, this could be something that you could wear. Okay. All right. Okay. And for our guys, here's an example of this guy with like kind of I think it's like a navy suit here. Let me see if I can find a guy with a, oh, well, this guy, he has a black suit, but not very corporate-y like this guy right here. But you guys get the idea, okay? All right, so let's go back to our article real quick. All right. So, yes, for formal and business casual events, men and women can wear the versatile colors of navy and charcoal, whether it's charcoal black or charcoal gray, or you can even wear like some type of gray suit if you're going more that speed. Another thing from here about single-breasted I really liked is it says, without the excess fabric of double-breasted, the single-breasted coat looks sharp even when unbuttoned. So I'll show you guys a quick example of that too. So single-breasted unbuttoned. And I'm just kind of adding this in here, guys, because I just thought that it'd be kind of cool to show you guys. So with the guy with something that is buttoned, let's use this guy right here. So as you can see here, he's wearing this suit and it's unbuttoned and it still looks okay. This guy looks like he's kind of going to a party or something. So yeah, and this is just single-breasted here. Here's like kind of a better look of a guy whose jacket is unbuttoned. Okay, and it still looks okay. Okay, see if I can find a better example. Okay, well, can't see anything off the top of my head that's unbuttoned. Let's see if I can find a coat. Can't find anything right now, but don't worry, guys. It's not important. I just kind of wanted to, I'll just give you guys those. This guy, oh, that's double-breasted, so that doesn't look as okay. Okay, here you go. This guy has on something that's single-breasted, and as you can see, he still looks okay while wearing it. His suit looks a bit crazy, but he still looks professional wearing it when it's single-breasted. So here's an example. And yes, suits can come in all different, different colors and designs here too. Okay. All right, so let's go back to our article here. All right, something else I liked from this article, it says, number 4 under single, it says the single line of buttons elongates the torso, giving a taller and slimmer appearance. And this is an effect that you can see with something that is single-breasted, where the person will come across and they will look taller, okay? Like we saw with our lady here, she looks taller by wearing something that is single-breasted, okay? And let's see if we get the same effect with our guy. I guess he could look slimmer here. Maybe he could look slimmer because it's black, but I'll show you an example of a guy's overcoat that looks overcoat. I'll show you an example of a single-breasted overcoat for a guy that makes you look a little bit taller. So here's a coat here, but this is an example. But this is an example of 2 coats that are single-breasted. But I want to show one that kind of makes the guy look tall that's wearing it. So I know there's an example of a guy wearing a coat. Okay, so let's use this guy right here. Oh, picture's not big enough. Let me go back. Okay, you see this guy right here? Look at this guy right here. So as you can see, he has his coat unbuttoned, but he still looks You know, he still has that effect, you know, of he kind of looks tall with it, but I want to show you one where the guy looks taller with it being single-breasted and fashion. Let me show you, because that was probably a bad example that I just got you guys. Let me see, because I found one before where the guy wearing something single-breasted, looking tall. Okay, so that's not a good example. And I'm just like randomly doing this for you guys to see how something can look taller. Okay, so maybe this. So you see this guy right here. You see how when he's wearing this, he looks slimmer, okay? And he looks a bit taller too as he's wearing this right here, okay? With it buttoned up and stuff. So yeah, single breast can have that effect, okay? All right, so let's go back to our article. Something else I liked on here. Let's see. 5. As the all-occasion coat, a tie is not always necessary with open V neckline. It works well with a scarf. So with a single-breasted piece of attire, you don't have to always wear a tie like this guy. You don't always have to wear a tie. You can look just as good if you wore something single-breasted and it didn't have a tie. You might look a little bit less formal if like you don't have a tie, gentlemen, but still it's okay. And ladies, if you were to wear something single-breasted and it didn't have a tie of any type, you still look okay. Like this girl right here, she still looks dressy and a little casual, but you know, it still looks good. Okay, so you know, you can dress down the single-breasted look too, if that's what you want to do. Okay, now on to our section about double-breasted. Okay, so when it comes to double-breasted, something interesting about the double-breasted is it says 1 here, traditionally the more conservative choice. The double-breasted style was first worn by European naval officers and royal princes. So double-breasted, it goes back in history to the time of war. And something interesting that I found out in my research is that during World War II, people in the U.S., actually soldiers in the U.S. Air Force, they wore double-breasted coats if they were pilots. So I found that to be pretty interesting in my research. So I just want to pass that on. And this is one of the reasons why when you see double-breasted, you see people of experience and high stature and seeming professional, because like people in the military who wear certain things and they come across as important with a certain style, you can come across as looking professional in a certain style too by wearing something that's someone in the military wear, like specifically like double-breasted or something like that. And what people don't know is that history has had an impact on the type of clothes we wear. Even wars and military have had an effect on the types of clothes that we wear as civilians. So yeah, guys, it's pretty interesting. Something else that I liked from this article is that 2, ideally a coat for the workplace. The double-breasted cut gives an authoritative and professional look, like I was just talking about, with you or somebody of importance, you know, like someone in the military wearing double-breasted. They give that air of importance by wearing that double-breasted cut. And if you wear something that's double-breasted, you're going to look important. I mean, you know, let's just go back to this guy. This guy looks important wearing that double-breasted right here, right? Remember him? And this guy right here that I did not show you guys, this guy looks important wearing this double-breasted overcoat. He looks like somebody who's in a management role, or maybe a business owner of some type, somebody that people will listen to. And, you know, this double-breasted look carries it off. And for our lady here, yes, she looks important too. You know, she gives that air of importance, that elegance, that you know, that essence from people that, you know, they're going to listen to her talk because she's dressed to get the type of high level attention from people. And they're going to surely listen to her because she's not only does she look the part, but she's carrying herself the right way, which is why people are going to see her as important and why they're going to see him as important. Okay? All right, so let's go back to our article real quick. Remember when I was talking about double-breasted, and if you have it unbuttoned, you look disheveled, and I showed you guys before how that guy had that unbuttoned double-breasted suit, and he was looked disheveled. Okay, so here's our guy here. This is a double-breasted suit, but he looks, you know, disheveled. He looks like a slob because it's not buttoned up, and because he's wearing it looking like this, he doesn't look as, you know, professional as, say, what our guy right here looks, you know, more formal and put together because his buttons are fastened on his double-breasted suit here. All right, so let's go back. And ladies too, be careful when you are double-breasted. Some double-breasted. Same thing applies to you. If you're wearing something double-breasted, the way you want to carry off the look and look important and look pulled together is you want to make sure that your what you wear is buttoned up, so you give that effect too. Okay, you give that good effect of looking put together. And let me just go ahead and look for women double-breasted unbuttoned. If I type this right, I typed it wrong. Let's see. Unbuttoned, double-breasted. Okay, guys, so I know this is like a bad example, but do you see how she's wearing this double-breasted coat and it does not look put together? It doesn't look very good, does it? Doesn't look very fashionable, okay? Doesn't look good at all, okay? And this right here, too, I mean, it looks like a nice coat, but because it's not buttoned up here, we can definitely see that it does not look good. See, this right here, it just doesn't have that nice air of being double-breasted. It just doesn't look as good as, say, with someone who has their coat buttoned up at like this right here, how she has hers fastened and it looks good, okay? Same way with this. Because she has her coat buttoned up here, she looks really nice, you know, in the coat, okay? Alright. Alright, so fair enough. Let's get going. And for our guys, it says, for a slim gentleman, the double-breasted style broadens the shoulders, and if our gentlemen are on the portly side, they should buy a size up for extra lengthening in the midsection. Okay. And with double-breasted, another thing I liked on here is it said that if you really want to make the coat or jacket you're wearing really stand out for double-breasted, you want to make sure, like, you look really important. You want to make sure, if you're a guy, you wear a tie, a bow tie, or ascot. And if you're a woman and you want to make yours look more formal, you can just wear a really nice scarf with your double-breasted coat and you'll look cute. And let me just find an example of a woman, something she's wearing double-breasted, and we'll have her with a scarf and show you how good it looks with a scarf. Okay, and how it's a little dressy. So you see how this girl right here, she's wearing the double-breasted buttoned up, but she has that scarf. See, this looks, you know, a lot more formal than, say, you know, this double-breasted that has no scarf with her. So dressy, not as dressy. Okay. And this lady right here, she definitely makes it look dressed up with her scarf right here. And ladies, you can choose different types of scarf to kind of dress this up if you want to do that, you know. So yeah, see if there's anything else I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, the double-breasted was made famous by one of the Bond guys, played by someone named Moore in the Man with the Golden Gun James Bond movie. So that's interesting. All right. And also the single-breasted was also popularized by a Bond actor with the last name Connery, and the movie Dr. No, which I guess also happens to be a James Bond movie too. So that's interesting. So for our takeaways for our ladies and our guys, you know, the takeaways are, if you are like, if you're trying to dress for a you know, like a casual event, it's okay to wear something that is single-breasted. Okay, that's completely fine. And single-breasted, you have one single row of buttons, one button, two buttons, or three buttons, or more buttons. Okay, and that's fine. Okay. And you know, if you're going casual, well, like, ladies, if you want to wear like a single-breasted coat and some jeans, it's a cute look to wear. Okay. If you want to get more formal with it, ladies, then you can go ahead and you can wear that double-breasted and definitely step it up. Okay. And and I'll show you another example of a double-breasted coat, which looks really cute, that can be really well dressed up if you you know, if you decide to wear it. So this is stepping it up, definitely. Okay. So yeah. So single-breasted, you can kind of wear to like, yeah, semi-formal events, single-breasted. And if you're thinking about wearing something that's double-breasted, then you're going to be wearing that to those black tie events, those formal events, or you're going to be wearing them if you just want to have that urban importance. This is where you will wear double-breasted. You can wear single-breasted or double-breasted if you're going to a wedding, you know. If you're a groom and you want to stand out from your groomsmen, you can have them wear suits that are single-breasted, and you be the guy that wears double-breasted. But it's up to you what you choose to wear. Ladies, in terms of what type of suits you wear, if you wear a suit to work and you decide to have a single-breasted, you're more than okay to wear that. Now, if you're going to some like some, you know, big business conference and you want to show yourself to be a really important asset, then you can wear a double-breasted blazer. Okay, and I'll just lastly show the ladies what a double-breasted blazer looks like on a lady. Double-breasted blazer looks like for our ladies. So why do they not ever have that's not a good example. And I find a cute example of double-breasted that can look more formal. Okay, so here we go. Here's an example of a double-breasted suit. As we can see, she left this unbuttoned, but you can see how she kind of dressed it up to make herself look a bit more important than just wearing a single-breasted blazer. Okay, and like I said, suits for ladies, ladies, you're gonna find that you're gonna have a variety of suits that have different colors. For gentlemen, if you want to look really cool and important, you know, then you could just go for those feminine, not feminine, go for those masculine tones of those dark colors, those black, dark blue, and you can go with a dark gray, and you'll look pretty cool too. Okay. All right. And I kind of just had to click on this because I see this. This looks really cool, ladies. I just wanted to kind of show you guys this right here. Okay. I just saw this example of double-breasted, and I thought, hey, let me just share this. Okay. All right. So just remember, if you're buying single-breasted, double-breasted, single-breasted, you know, make sure that, you know, you're wearing it and, you know, it's the right size, you know, you can fit into it comfortably, and it's tailored to your body, and it looks good on you. You don't want to have anything single-breasted look baggy on you, okay? There's a such thing as something being professional looking on you, but it looking baggy. The same way you saw when I showed you that example of the girl that had on something that's like double-breasted, and it, you know, looked baggy, you know. And double-breasted too, same thing. Make sure if you're buying some double-breasted, know that it's going to, when you fasten the buttons, it's going to be snug on your body. Make sure that you get the right size. Make sure that it's going to look good on you, whether you're a man or a woman. And, I just say, whether you wear a single-breasted or double-breasted attire, just know when to wear them and how you can dress them up. And you will look pretty awesome. All right? Whether you're a girl or a guy. All right, guys. So thank you guys for spending some time with me today and letting me answer the question for you of the difference between single-breasted and double-breasted and when you should wear them. All right? So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments, feel free to leave comments below for us. If you want me to put that link from Rue Now for you guys to click on and take a look at, then comment that below for me too. And feel free to subscribe because we talk about women's fashion, we talk about men's style, and it's kind of unusual for us to do a video talking about men's fashion and men's style and women's fashion at the same time, but I guess we can do a little bit more of that. But yes, we will have videos specifically for women where we talk about women's fashion, and we'll have some videos where we talk about exclusively about men's style. So we'll have videos for that. And whoever wants to watch the videos, regardless if it's women's fashion or men's style, you're welcome to tune in for our videos. So thank you guys for watching and have a great evening, guys. Bye-bye.